when we used to meet, the clique we used to meet under the clock in the Cullen building on the first floor. And that day, Sophie was introducing the clique to her sister to the clique. Well, I was on the second step going up to the second floor, about 10 feet away from the group. And I was the last one to be introduced. So I walk over there with a big smile on my face. I shake my hand, I say, "I'm Aki, that's short for Achilles. Glad to know you." And she introduced me to Rena. Well, I looked at Rena, Sophie, light, almost blonde, green eyes. Her sister, brown hair, brown eyes, dark. Why the hell could this happen? Two sisters. Well, one took after the father, the one took after the mother. Sophie after the mother, Rena after the father. And what caught my eye, Rena was a hell of a flirt. And she had this catch me if you can attitude. And that caught my interest. Catch me if you can. Well, anyway.
How'd Sophie take it?
Sophie didn't like it, of course. Well, Sophie had a real crush on me. And things were getting out of hand. I said, "Look, Sophie, we got to slow down here. I'm in no position to get married. I'm in school, and I got 4 years ahead of me. So I had to slow down." And she agreed. But we're very close friends. And, well, I used to drive them to school, back and forth, because I had my 40 Plymouth. And I'd drive her mother downtown. She'd take care of her business. And I did that for a long while. I was like a brother to him, I guess. I was driving him everywhere. As a matter of fact, that was my advantage over the other guys that were chasing the girls, because I was always with them. Well, this was the fall coming, and in the fall, the university usually has the Little Abner dance, where Gracie Hawkins and Little Abner, Gracie's always chasing Little Abner. And the girls have to ask the boys to go to the dance. So, I'm a full-time student. I'm getting $30 a month. That was my subsistence for everything. Room, board, gas, oil, you name it. And I didn't have no money. $30 didn't go far. So, we went to the dance. I don't know who asked whom, but Sophie went with Tony. Tony was a foreign student she met at the foreign club. He was Cuban. And I went with Rena. Well, the four of us went to the dance. I danced my slow numbers with Rena. And I jitterbug with Sophie, because she could jitterbug real good. And Sophie and Tony danced the Latin tunes real good. Tony was a hell of a dancer, Latin. He was Cuban. And we had a hell of a good time. Well, that kind of cut the ice a bit. I with Rena, Tony with Sophie. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4 months. Still, I wasn't very close to Rena, even though I was smitten by both of them, but I'm getting deep feelings for Rena. So one day when I took him home, I'm walking out to go to my car. Rena grabs me, pulls me in the closet, closes the door, and it's dark, black. Couldn't see my hand in front of me. And she says, "I don't want you looking at other girls when you're with me." And that's when I knew she was beginning to get serious. And then come June. And I was going with Rena all this time. I'm falling in love now. And I was just a young cub, and anything about girls, I'd call my sister Mary, and we'd talk. Talk about the girls or whatever. Mother-in-law, everything. And Mary says, "Do you love the girl?" I said, "Well, I think I do." She said, "Marry the girl." Just like that, boom. So, it was now June, we're all in class. We come home, we're sitting in the living room. There's a knock on the door. So Rena goes to the door, opens the door. In walks in the immigration officer. And he tells Rena, "Young lady, you realize you overstayed your visa? And you'll have to send you back to Greece right away." And hell, man, she's going to school with us. You can't do that. Well, see, Sophie had a student visa. She could stay as long as she had passing grades. Rena had a visitor's visa. She renewed it once, but she didn't renew it the second time. Holy mackerel. This is on a Tuesday afternoon. June 17th, or June 16th or 17th. So that night, I had a sleepless night. What the hell are we going to do? How are we going to keep Rena here? All going through my mind. But then when I talked to the immigration officer, he and I on the side, he mentioned to me the War Brides Act is still in effect. And if a GI or a veteran marries a girl, she can stay. That was my solution. The next morning, Rena and Sophie and Aki are driving to school. No talk. We just, our minds were running, how we can keep Rena here. And I said, "Girls, I've made up my mind. I've decided I'm going to marry Rena. She'll become my war bride. And she can stay, and they can't send her anywhere." I said, "Rena, you tell your mother we're going to get married right away. I'm falling in love with you, and it's going to take a lifetime to prove it to you." And she said, "You will?" "Yes, I shall." Well, that was on a Wednesday morning. Well, Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, we were married in a Greek Orthodox church by Father Haginas officiating.
Where was that church?
It was downtown Houston, in the park, 2 blocks from the main library. Beautiful little white church. They had terrific property there. And of course, when they sold that property, they had enough money to build a cathedral in Houston.
Matter of fact, the Houston Greek Festival is light years ahead of the Dallas
Yeah,
Greek. It's
yeah.
really big.
Oh, it's
We
big.
used to go to it.
Oh my God, you can't get near it.
Yeah.
Real big.
But Greeks have always been in Houston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Always.
They had a real good community. Mr. Prappas ran the ice cream factory in Lynn.
Matter of fact, the Pappas family, Papados.
Oh,
all
yeah.
that, yeah.
The Pappas boys. Well, his father, the boys, and my father grew up on the same side of the mountain in Greece. And he started the business. Pappas. Papadopoulos. They got it to Pappas.
Wow. So when? What was your marriage date?
The marriage day was, this is going to kill you, June 19th, 1948. Juneteenth. Emancipation Proclamation Day.
You have a honeymoon?
Sir?
Did you have a honeymoon?
No.
Yeah.
We got married Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, we had a reception at the house.
Where was your house then?
A house that we lived in an apartment next to the University of Houston. They just built these apartments. And we had a 2-bedroom apartment, and that's where Sophie Renner, myself, and mother lived. So,
How'd Sophie take all this?
very bad. That's another story. I'll tell you later.
Is she marrying Tony?
She got married eventually to Tony. But it was real sad. But anyway, we lived there, and I got married. Now I know I have to support a wife.
But you're going to U of H, aren't you?
Oh yeah, we're all at the U of H.
What was your degree you were trying?
Engineering, mechanical engineering. Mm-hmm. Then I got into electrical too, lighting, illumination. Oh, I could tell you a lot of things. But anyway, I told Rena, I said, we got to get our own place. So I got a job at the post office. Mr. Prappis wrote on the back of a card, one of his cards, "This is the boy I talked to you about." And he gives me the card, he says, "You give this to Mr. Lender, who was the postmaster downtown, main post office." So I go downtown, and I give him the card. He says, "When do you want to start work?" Because he already knew about me. He says, "Tomorrow." So tomorrow I begin work from 4 to midnight. And I went to the Dean of Engineering. I was taking 21 hours in 3 labs. All the GIs were trying to make up time they lost that they were in the service. So I cut it down to 12 hours. So I go to school in the mornings, study a couple hours in the afternoon, and then I go to work.
In engineering, that's nearly impossible to do.
Yeah, that was hard. 5 years. But anyway, so I did that for about 9 months. School, study, work. School, study, work. Boom, boom, boom. No fooling around, nothing. And the last 3 months I got a job with the Corps of Engineers at Ellington Field. I was a design draftsman. Well, after a year, we bought our first home on Broccoli Lane. And that's where we moved to Broccoli Lane.
7463.
Yeah. And that's where it all began. The children.
Now, what year did you get out of U of H with your degree?
Back in 52, I guess it was. But I was working.
But you got your mechanical engineering
Yeah.
degree in 52.
Yeah.
Did you go back and get your electrical?
No. I got my electrical by the School of Hard Knocks, working as a consultant engineer. I won first prize illumination, the National Illumination Society. We had a contest in the Southwest. And I designed a building, lighting. Now the building was designed by 2 boys, one from Rice and one from Texas University. They were architects. They were real wild, way out. And the building was made of marble, 7/8 of a thick, 1/8 of an inch, 7/8 of an inch, thick marble, white marble. That was the wall. No interior, that's it. And the roof was trusses. No space for ductwork or anything. So I'm the engineer on a project. What do I do about lighting? What do I do about air conditioning? Well, what I did, I built a trench, concrete trench around the perimeter of the building. Had my ductwork there, that was my air conditioning. with the floor diffusers, washed the walls. No drafts, no moisture or anything. Worked real fine. Lighting, in those days, we're designing lighting for an office, 100-foot candles. Well, what I did, I took a cardboard box, put a lamp, 100-watt lamp, and put a piece of that marble over it. And I could see, with the light behind it, the marble became almost orange with black grains in it. Beautiful. And you put the light on top, and it's a white marble building. So, my floodlights out front was a white marble building. I put floodlights around the building. And it was in the corner, center of the city, but no street lights around it, which was good. And the 100-foot candle foot power in the offices from when it got dark till about 10 o'clock, orange, black grain building, beautiful. And the offices were lit differently, different schemes in each office using fluorescent lamps. And in the dining area, I had the little small spots. They looked like stars. And I had low voltage control with a control panel in the manager's office. He controlled anything.
Where was this building?
This was in, what the hell's the city before you get to Texas City?
Lamar?
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake?
Clear Lake. It was for the, what the hell's the name of the company? Power company. Texas Home something. They were headquarters in Fort Worth. But they had power companies down in that whole area. Texas something. Well, anyway, they gave me 2 more buildings to do. But when I submitted that, I didn't want to submit it. I'm a shy guy. But Scott, who was a factory representative for lighting fixtures, said, Kozakis, you've got to submit that building. He went and he took all the slides and everything. So we had the slides. I made up a little story and so forth, describing everything about the building. And I got first prize in lighting competition.
Is the building still there?
I believe it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So you were back in Houston back in the, really kind of the glory days in '65 with oil and gas and the...
They called us the 400. Architects, engineers, contractors, and factory representatives. We built Houston, the most air-conditioned city in the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, it had to be.
Everything was air-conditioned.
Remember the old Epperson building downtown?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Rice Hotel?
Yeah. All of them.
And there's some of the great restaurants were there too.
Oh, yeah.
Sunny Looks.
Oh, yeah.
Guido's?
Guido, yeah. Jimmy, what the hell's his name now? He wouldn't let me pay for my food. He had a restaurant across the Rice and had one on South Main. Oh, very well known. I forget the name now.
Jimmy.
First name was James. But anyway, there are a lot of Greek restaurants.
Yeah. A lot of great seafood restaurants being that close
Yeah.
to Galveston.
But now there are not too many. Not that I know of.
Not like it used to be.
Oh, no. Well, everything is spread out. Now there are 3 Greek churches. You've got the cathedral, you've got at NASA, and you've got St. Basil's over by Memorial. There's 3 right there. So it's all spread out.
Well, I'm going to go back.
On Kipling Street.
Kipling, yeah.
Well, Montrose, Kipling,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, that's all changed. It really went sour
Oh,
for a
God,
while.
I don't-
Now it's good.
I get lost going to Houston. It's all gone.
James's Coney Island used to be one of the great hot
Oh
dogs
yeah, that was
stands.
great. Man, that was a quick lunch.
And the other one that's no longer there for seafood was my favorite, but you had
Oh,
to save
good.
up money. It was San Jacinto Inn.
Yeah,
San Jacinto Inn.
Yeah.
Up on stilts.
right.
They would serve you in tuxedos.
Uh-huh.
And you'd sign a huge book the size of this table. All you could eat.
Yeah.
All you
You
could
remember the blue plate specials?
Yes. Yes.
Not even a buck, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was real good.
Yeah.
That's how I sustained myself on blue plate specials. And one specialty was enchilada, chili, and an egg on top. Man, that was great.
You were there about the same time the great hotel was built by
Yeah.
a wildcatter. It was
Yeah, McCarthy,
What was the name of it?
Shamrock.
That's it.
Oh yeah,
That's it. Glenn McCarthy.
yeah.
Glenn McCarthy used to wear green glasses
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
always. He was a wildcatter
He'd,
and hit it big,
and he'd lose it big,
and he lost it big too.
and he'd make it back.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
there used to be a fellow who Lebanese. You've heard Michael Halbooty.
Halibut, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be
I know them all.
darned.
Real sharp oil man, Halibut.
There's a book out.
Oh
about him.
yeah, big man.
His daughter lived in Dallas for a while.
Yeah, big.
I'll be darned. He was Lebanese, but
Yeah.
but he was closer to Greece than he was to the
Yeah.
people in Beaumont, Port Arthur.
Yeah, and you know, Orthodox.
Yeah. All right, now I'm going to go back and pick. I've got all that down. That was a very, very good story. I'm going to go back and pick up you going into the Army Air Corps. Now, you signed. You were drafted first, but you got out of it by working in an essential job, which you could have stayed with probably throughout the war.
I could have been a 4F for the whole war.
Why didn't you do it?
Hell no, I wanted to get in there. I had two brothers in there. And I wanted to fly.
Speaking of your brothers, will you walk me through your brothers and which service they were in?
Johnny was the first one to go in. He went a weekend after Pearl Harbor. He was the first civilian to leave Lynn, to go to the service with the Navy. And then Nicholas followed 4 months later. He was drafted in the Army. He was an armorer. He was in Assam, India.
Oh, yeah. With the 10th Air Force.
Yeah, and he was feeding supplies to the CBI.
That was a big base in India.
Yeah. They fly C-47s and C-46s over the hump to the CBI. That's what he was doing. And then I went in, I joined up, and Milton, my younger brother, I went in January, April, he went in. He didn't even finish high school.
Well, your mom
He was a senior.
must have been having fits.
My mother died when I was 8 years old.
Oh, that's right. That's
7
right.
years old. My dad had the fits because he felt 2 sons were enough, and now he's got 4. And Milton was a radio operator on C-47s.
When Milton went in, your dad had to sign for him if he was 17.
Yes.
How did he finagle that?
Well, my dad, he figured you can't fight it. Eventually he's going to be drafted. So let him go in what he wants to do. And he wanted to be a cadet like me. And he ended up at Scott Field, St. Louis, radio school. And he's a radio operator.
Your other brothers had left. Your dad, did he ever remarry?
No. When I was in high school, we had a housekeeper, Cora, real nice lady. And she used to make me the apple pies. I'd take them back. I was going to combat crew training at Westover Field. And I was only less than 100 miles from home. So she'd give me a pie, I'd take it back, and I'd share it with the boys. After a while, going back and forth, instead of the boys saying, "Hi, Greek, hi, Kozakis," they said, "Where's the apple pies?" Waiting for the pie.
Do you remember much about your mother's death?
Oh, yeah. She had pneumonia. I was just a kid. Oh, let's see. 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. And I remember her being sick in bed. Then when she passed away, I didn't know, Milton and I went to the Poulos family down the street. And that's where we stayed during the wake and the funeral.